most basic use of the music easel is using the keyboard to trigger notes. One of the most exciting uses of the music easel is as a music generator. As a generator, we replace the fingers with something else that triggers these musical events. In this video, I'll take you through a way of thinking that helps me create a generative patch. The most common way to start trigger events is with the pulsar. You put it in self mode and press 1, it just starts triggering events. You can set the envelope to trigger from the pulsar rather from the keyboard. And voila, we have a generative patch. Now I can use the keyboard to change the pitches, and this gives me the experience of the interactive generative patch. By applying different sources of modulation to different parameters, I'll end up someplace fantastic. So I'm going to try a random value, which is triggered by the pulsar, to modify the pulsar period. Now that we have a strange rhythm, I'll modify the pitch. First, I'll try a random value. This sounds really nice, but if I use the sequencer instead, we'll have a pattern of pitches which is maybe more musical. I can add to the sound by using the pulsar's decay to fire off the complex oscillator sound. That's not too great. What makes a generative patch interesting is trying to modulate as much as possible. So I'll put the modulation oscillator into low mode and add some modulation to the complex oscillator and affect the pitch. So now I'll try to put a random modulator into the low frequency of the mod oscillator so we get random modulations of the pitch. I'll patch in the pulsar as an envelope for the pitch, and now we have two sources of modulation on the pitch. I'll see what it's like to modulate the amplitude of the complex oscillator instead of the frequency. And maybe I'll add some randomness onto the timbre for some variation. And this is okay, but I like to use pressure, so it gives me an interactive control. And undoing the work I did previously, I'm just going to switch the mod oscillator to high frequency mode and see what happens. I like it. Now I'm going to modulate the envelope. I'm going to make use of the attenuverter on the MBO to reduce the voltage coming from the sequencer. You can see this reduction on the LED. I'll put this on the attack of the envelope. I'll try to use the envelope to modulate pitch. And then maybe I'll modulate the decay instead of the attack. Now I want to try to change the modulation amount. First, I'll try the pulsar, but I think random is better. Now let's listen what happens when I use the sequencer to modulate the level of gate 2. To make things more cybernetic and interactive, I'll add the touch strip to the pulsar speed. Now that things are comfortably nuts, I'll start playing with the effects and the effects pedals. And now it really feels like this is a good time to play. And just as a reminder, this is where we started just a few minutes ago. Generative patches on the Buchla Music Easel provide a wealth of sound design and music exploration. We'll continue to explore this topic and future videos.